folks. It's been a busy day. I'm Joe Crawford. I'm artlearner.com. Pretty much every day I go to CSSBattle.dev, do the daily target, and record myself doing it. The goal is always to get to 100% of a 100% match of the intended target, and that's what I'm about to try to do now. Oh, this is so interesting. All right, so I'm going to do this two ways at least. Let's do it the first way. Um, okay, so we have this color on the background, and the background of the HTML element, and I'm going to take the body element and I'm going to put this light purple on it. And I am just having trouble pasting in the right place today. Oh, and I'm missing a semicolon. There we go. Okay, so margins. Let's get the margins in 3, 4, 41, 42, 8, 90, 92. Okay, so we have that much. And then the traditional way that I would do this would be, what is the traditional way? Well, I think I would start with a conic gradient, which is transparent, 75% of it, and then this light color, 0. And it's in the upper corner, so 0, 0 is its background position, and then width, pixels, 100 pixels, maybe 120, 30, maybe 120. I think it's 120 and 120. And then move the at value at 40 pixels, 40 pixels. I think it's 80 and 80. So that gets me a lot of the way. And what's interesting about this, the thing that's really interesting. So I think I alluded to doing it two ways. Actually, maybe I'm going to do it one way. I'm going to try something. I'm going to do background, blend mode, multiply. I feel like I'm being invited to do that for this one, but I don't know whether that's really going to work. But let's try it. Conic, gradient, another one, very similar, comma, and it's also going to be transparent, 75%, and then this color, 0. And you can see the multiplication there, but it's not the right color. So when I move this over, 40 pixels probably, and change the at value to be a little bigger, at 100 pixels, 100 pixels. Actually, it's probably 120, isn't it? 120, 120. You can kind of see how that would work. But in this case, it's not doing the right thing. Now, I do think, though, that I can do an additional. Well, I think I don't need the background mode. If I just do this, I just need to put the squares in, right? Yeah. And that one is going to be 40 pixels, 40 pixels. And it's going to be transparent, 75%. And then this color, the dark one, 0, comma. Okay, so that's what that square looks like. I'm going to set that at 40 pixels, 40 pixels. That puts that there. I'm going to set the width at 80 pixels, 80 pixels, and that does it. So that's 3 conic gradients. And so that first way I was thinking was, or maybe it was going to be the second way, I was going to try and do the background multiply thing, background blend mode. And you could see that I got another color out of it, but unfortunately this color is not the one. So here's a thing that I don't use and have not really tried. There are tools provided, and if you join the CSS Battle Discords, there are folks who share tools that do the math to that will allow you to use an alpha channel and overlay colors and get a resulting color. That's very tricky, right? Like that. That's not something you could come out that could come out of your head necessarily, unless you're really good with RGB color or did it on paper. That's not something I'm going to do. Like I'm not going to open up a calculator. Probably, maybe someday. So yeah, that's a fun solution. Let's minify, and I'm going to submit this guy. Do I want to try to do this a different way? I don't know. That's a minify, and that is so I do unit replace and get the last little bits of that. So that's all on the nest. So backend. Let's try one last time. So yeah, that's the nested template. So HTML and body element and 3 gradients does it. Well, and then the margins, which defines our space. The question is, could you do this in a different way? And what would that be? Well, one way that I am a big fan of is the quad template, which is creating 4 elements that are what am I trying to say? 4 elements that are symmetrical. So let's do that. And let's make them. So I think we know that's 80. So there's 100 width and 100 wide, I think. And let's set margins on the body. 4292 is what we saw. Yeah, something like that. 42, is it 50? Okay, so there's 4 elements that are very specific, and rather than a linear gradient, what do we need to do to create this shape? I think it's conic gradient, transparent. Is it just the same again? Transparent 75%, and then light purple 0, and then an at value at 80 pixels, 80 pixels. Well, there's my squares because they're symmetrical. And then I think it's another conic gradient then with a no repeat. And this one is the light color, 75%, dark color, 0. And that's at bottom 0, right 0, 60 pixels, comma, kind of, and then a no repeat, like that. So that's off the top of my head, and I'm missing the at value of that. At 40 pixels. Yeah, so that's another way to do it. So that's 2 gradients, but it's 4 elements and a lot of all that overhead of the symmetry, and the back end is just not friendly to me tonight. Let's resubmit. And obviously you don't have to do bottom 0, right 0. This is another way to do background position. So the typical is X and Y, and it's left to right, bottom to top. But you can also set that origin using coordinates if you set both the keywords bottom and right, or any of the keywords. You could also do top right or top left or bottom left, and set numbers for those. And that is another way to set background position. Not something that I do very often at all because, well, it's code golf and you don't want all these letters in here. Like, so if I do 0, 0, you see that's screwy. So I need to move them over. And I think that's what, 40 pixels? 40 pixels? Yeah, which is the other way to do it, obviously. So minify, unit replace, and submit for that way. It's a shame about the multiply method because I think that there's something interesting there. If I could figure out, so the thing you need to do is set the additive colors to the beige, the EF, EADE, with the light purple. What's the color that would make that light purple when overlaid on that the correct color? So it's probably not that color to get it precisely that. And then what again do you get that? You might still in theory, if you put these two together and then multiply them, or maybe a different, a hard light or one of the other difference values. So I'll pull that up. MDN background blend mode. So background blend mode. This is the property that is so powerful, and not one that we usually see. So maybe darken, would darken do it? Kind of curious about that. Let's do. So if I set that, then what do I get? Background. So you don't get anything out of that. I'm in the wrong element. I need to put it on the paragraph element, right? Yeah. Yeah, see, background blend mode. So in theory, this gradient and this gradient, you would see some result. And in this case, even though these purples are overlaying each other, we don't get to see an additional dark color. So it's not darken either. It's not multiply, it's not darken. Maybe it's another one. I don't know. I didn't have to play around with it. That's fun though. All right, that's it. Too much talk. 12 minutes. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Go make a webpage. I'll see you around. Bye.